run through some software I use called LumaFusion on an iPad, and you can also use it on your phone. Talk generally, I guess, about maybe some video editing, photography editing to a degree as well, and then hope to show you a little bit about a YouTube channel for those of you who might be interested in that. But before I do that, I just thought I'd ask you all: is there anything particular that you'd like me to cover, or don't know it all, but I could tailor it a bit to that? Has anyone got any projects that they think they might want to do, or they want to perhaps do some training on, show people how to do things, or they want to do some family videos, or they want to put some pictures together in a sequence, add some music, stuff like that?
Yeah, that kind of thing, Ray.
Yeah, I think that's that sort of thing at the end. I don't think
picture sequence with music would be nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd be interested for you to show me how you get it on my mobile phone.
We need to talk, do we? I spent 10 years working for Orange mobile phones, so I'll give you a bit of advice on that.
Yeah, but
mine's black and white.
Yeah, it's before that, I think.
It's not maybe the smartphone, is it? Is it a dumb phone? My uncle Ali's 85. He just called me the other night and he says he's looking at getting his first smartphone. He hasn't got broadband at home or anything. So he's been down Tesco's talking to them. So yeah, I'm going to help him out with that. Let you know how it goes.
Yeah, good luck.
Right. Well, I'll jump in.
Before you start, the other thing I'd be interested in is, I don't know, you talked about YouTube videos. How do they do that bit where they speed it up in the middle just to get through something that's boring quite quickly?
Are you saying something about some of our presentations or what? No, maybe messing. I know you mean, yeah. That's a technique called speed ramping. I can show you that on LumaFusion. That's a good question.
Right.
Yeah. And,
he said, are you going to show it halfway through?
Oh, ouch. Meow.
All right, let's give it a go. Come on, let's see. We can always stop and start, whack some questions in the chat as we go along. I'm sure Peter will.
Does anybody want a cheap LED lamp? I've been experimenting with LED lamps. This one's an old one. It does from white balance a little bit. And if anybody wants it and got 6 batteries, they can have it.
Can I adapt it as a mobile phone?
Well, you can do, but the sound is crap.
There's my phone.
Anyway, sorry, over to you.
I'll bagsy it, Dave. I'll bagsy it. I'll use it.
Right. Okay, Colin, it's yours. Okay, it's yours then, Ray.
Cheers, Dave. Thanks, mate. Right, share screen, yeah?
Yep.
Here we go. Right. Share computer sound. Right. So let's see what we got. I'm using this. I think I used it before. This is called Lonely Screen. It's just a way of transmitting what you've got on your iPad. Or actually, let's have a little vote. Actually, if you can find the little icon that's got a little hand or a thumbs up. For those of you who own an iPad or an iPhone, stick your thumbs up. Just out of interest. I can't see everyone, Pete. I've got a slim.
Can't find the icon. Sorry.
Those of us money have got Android then.
Down the bottom of the Zoom screen, Judy, there should be a little line you can do. Don't worry too much. Put your thumbs up. You can just do a thumbs up if you've got an iPad. Fab. I can only see Judy. So, is it half of us, maybe?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Right. So I'm on my iPad. Let's get this working. Okay. Right. Boom. You all see an iPad screen? That's a good sign. All right. So I thought actually I might show you quickly we've got iMovie as well. LumaFusion I particularly like because firstly it's I think last time I looked it was about 20 quid when I got it, and you can have it for 20 quid on your iPad and your iPhone and so on. It doesn't work on a PC, it's just made for mobile iPad, and it's kind of one of the top advanced editing suites, if you like, for an iPad. And once you pay your 20 quid, that's it for life. And tons of videos on using it, a lot of support, really good. So there we go. There's a little icon there. All right, let's have a look at it. So now, I don't know if any of you have messed about with, just move you a bit there, whether you've messed about a little bit with video editing, but in simple terms, when you look at the screen like this, most editing software, something called Adobe Premiere, you might have heard of. Adobe Premiere is kind of the best in the world, if you like, and it's used for feature films and all sorts. Sometimes when you see films now, they'll actually say, you know, made entirely from Adobe Premiere. Again, it's part of the package and so on with Photoshop. But there are other makes out there, of course. There are ones that are made by Sony that are really popular. Mac one, Apple one's really popular. But iMovie and iMovie is free on the iPad, which is very useful to, we'll have a look at that later. But I'm going to give you an idea of what LumaFusion can do. So I've got a few little projects here. Let's see what I've got. Right. So I made a little video yesterday, actually, to help Alison, my wife, with a training course she's doing to launch a new product. But I'm going to look at, this is here. Let me just go back. Right. I would start with something looking like this. Okay. Now, top left, can you see my mouse? Hey,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
That box there, you find that most editing software, you have a box there which is to import all your stuff. So there you can see videos, photos, albums. It's kind of a reflection of what's on my iPad. And also, you've got other ways that you can import stuff, all right? So don't worry too much at the moment. It's just lots of ways of importing things. Look, there's lots of little videos I made in the past, and they're all on OneDrive. So I use Microsoft OneDrive for storing a lot of my stuff and a lot of my pictures now as well. So that's what that area there is. If I click on the little top left chap, oh, I'm clicking on the screen, I want to do that. Right, I've got my photos, I've got files on OneDrive, I've got things I've imported, story blocks, that's kind of ready-made things, like say you wanted, you know, a video where you had a door slamming or a car chase, you can actually go on there. Let's have a little look in there. And you can, let's see, sound effects, some of it's free. Here we go, what we got here, micro air swoosh, right? And I can tap on that,
Box audio.
and I can play whatever it is. All right, I don't know whether you can hear it, doesn't matter though. Okay, I've got titles. So look, here's some like special titles that I might add to my slides. So later on I'll show you some, making a little slideshow out of your photographs, and you might want to add, you know, some nice, here we are, your text here, a little banner or something like that. Okay, so that's just a little overview of that. Transitions is where you move from one bit of video to the next, and you'll see when you watch it on video, you know, it might just be a simple glide, it might be a really clever swirly pattern into the next piece of clip, all sorts. Okay, right, so that's that bit there. Let's go back to photos. Right, so that's your top left up there. Now on the right, that's our preview screen, so that will give us an idea of what we're working on. Bottom left here is mainly to do with sound, and this bit here is what it's all about. This is the main area working. It's called the timeline, and you'll notice there's a grey bar there which has got a little film clip icon, and below it is a little music or sound clip icon, right? And you can have as many kind of, I think you could probably get 15 or 20 different timelines in there. It'll make more sense when I load a video up in a sec. But one thing that's important is that whatever you put on the top, a bit like when you're doing editing photographs, that becomes the priority. All right. So let's have a play. Let's see what we've got in here. Right, photos and videos. Okay, let's have a look. Where's my videos I made? Right, here we go. Right, here's just a little video I was doing. I was at a school yesterday and I was doing some bike fixing. Right, so can you see now, if I press play, that's like the preview window at the top. Okay. It's me just showing someone how to use some gears, some twist shift gears. Right, and I can pause it, play it. I can scan through quickly. And this is before I've loaded it into my timeline. So these little yellow markers here, if I wanted, before I even do it and load it into my timeline, and you can always go backwards as well. There's a back button. Here we go. Press that. Back to normal. Let's delete that. That then gives me that little section, and it tells me also, you know, you got 5 seconds of clip there or whatever, right? So I'm just going to leave it as it is, full length, and I press that button and I've loaded it into my timeline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Easy peasy. Right. Okay. So once it's in there, and you can customize the screen and everything. I can do all sorts with this clip. I'm actually going to show you a better clip to use. It's a bit short, this one. All right, let's get rid of that. So here's one I made earlier. All right, demo. Okay. Right, there we go. Okay. So you could probably all see, this was me messing about my drone over God's Hill Way, and I went out mountain biking with a friend, stuck the drone up. It's a beautiful plain there. I don't know if anyone's done some photography there, but I've definitely got to go back. And you can see as I scroll through, I can use my finger. I'm lucky enough that I've got an Apple Pencil, so it's quite good for getting, you know, into the detail. But all I'm doing is going left and right where you see the blue circle. And for example, what I might do first of all is I might decide, you know what, the colors look a bit odd. So I'm going to double click on my clip and all sorts of whizzy options come up. But the one thing I want to do is I want to go into all the color presets and things, right? So as you can see, it's a real minefield. If you wanted to do some extra editing, you can. But I'm going to do warm up, right? And you can mess about with levels just like you would perhaps in a, you know, editing on photographs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to show you too much of that, but just to get the idea. Now I do my back button, and you'll notice the clip now has got that warm up on it, the whole clip, right? But some of the main key things to know when video editing is how to cut things. So let's have a look. Now I'm looking at Dave here, and he's just started riding down the hill and it's going quite well. And then my drone skills let me down a bit and I've gone a bit wonky. So what I'm going to do is go back a bit, and the scissors at the bottom is your friend. Okay, it's now cut that piece there. Can you see the line? And I am going to scan through, and I go, do you know what? I'm going to wait until I've settled down a bit. Right, it's still a bit rubbish. That's a bit better, right? I'm going to clip that. I clip on that piece, and all I do is put it in the bin. Can you see that, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's the basis of cutting out. Now, when I play it, what you've got there, Dave's setting off on his bike, and that will now go straight into that other bit of clip. All right. So that's one thing to know about, definitely. The other nice thing here is when I click backwards and forwards, it finds the next, if you like, end piece for me. There we are, right at the end, back to that cut I made, back to the start. Now down the bottom there, the little plus, that you'll use a lot because I'm going to put in a little cheeky transition between the two clips. I press that, I go on transition. Now when it plays, might be a bit bright for you to see, but let's see if we can see. You've got a nice swap over with the clip. Did you see that? A kind of nice fadey swap into the next one, so nice and smooth. And there's a whole minefield of different types. In fact, let's have a look. We'll go up to transitions menu. Let's see what the zoom. Oh, a burst. That looks interesting. Let's try that. And it gives me a little idea of what it looks like. I drop it in my timeline just to make it a bit bigger so you can see it. See, I can expand that in and out to make it easier to look at. Now when I play it, let's play it from there. Okay, so you can do some really whizzy stuff. Okay, now just so this is sort of useful in terms of making, you know, some first little videos and things like that. What about the other thing I want to add? My little plus sign again. I want to add a title, so I do overlay title, and you'll notice that's at the top there. I can actually move it around though. If I put it below, it wouldn't like it anyway, but that gets priority on my clip. And now I'm going to double click on that little piece of text, and I'm going to, just for the crack, let's turn it pink. All right, and I can move that wherever I want. It looks a bit naff actually, a little bit of yellow, right? I'm going to put on there Dave's mountain bike ride. Okay. So when I play my clip now, there we go. It will stay over the top of that. And if I wanted the title to last a bit longer, I would just stretch it out, and it would just keep going. Okay. Now speeding stuff up. Dave, you mentioned that. So let's put a cut. I've gone a bit further now, but I'm getting bored with my video. Let's do cut. So from that cut all the way to there, I'm going to do another cut. I highlight my piece of clip, again, double tap it. And down the bottom here, I've got a little, looks like a speedo on your car. And you'll see, not only can I speed it up to 6 times the speed, I can do slow-mo with it, providing I've, you know, done enough frames and things. This is 30 frames a second. You'll notice down the bottom it's telling me all that. I can also reverse the clip as well. That takes a little time to process. So I'm going to go for the 6. I'll go back. Now when it comes to that clip, let's watch what happens. Oh, hang on. It should. It's going slow now. Let's see. There we go. 600 times speed, and then it's going to go back to its normal speed. Okay. Davis, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. By the way, when you say pick this, do that, do something else, tell us what keys or symbols you're pressing, because of course you're an expert. You're so quick. We say, what the hell did you do there?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. David, yes.
But that's definitely answered my question. And now I'm going to mute again before our leader cuts me off.
As if I do that.
The one thing, though, in answer to your question, Dave, it's a good point. Which do I press and things like that? I'm on an iPad and I haven't got a keyboard or anything. So literally, what I like about this is I'm just using my finger to choose stuff, right? So that title, for instance, I've got my finger on it and I've highlighted it, and now I'm just moving it around wherever I want it to go with my finger. All right. So think of it as almost like Lego blocks building up pieces of clips.
Yeah, you're doing overlays of the various parts that you want.
That's right, exactly. So, and you know, if I didn't want this end piece at all, again, I highlight it and I've just pressed the bin down the bottom, gone. And if I want to just go back, look all the way to how I was, and I think, you know, I'm just not happy with it, I'm pretty much back to normal.
Is there a means of once you've sent a segment to the bin that you can say, oops, I want that back again?
Well, you'd literally just do the back button there. You see the two, you got a forward and your back. All right.
Oh, yeah. Which ones are those? You just.
The ones, I'm just tapping them now. I'm going left and I'm going right. You see the arrows?
Yeah, I got those. That's in the center,
so,
the center section.
Yeah, center
yeah,
right.
center to the far right. You got it.
Just under the picture.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you just to the left. There's kind of 4 squares, isn't there? Just to the left, you've got your volume control. Let's stick some music on it and show you what happens. So I'm going back into my imported. So I just happen to have a few music tracks I've downloaded off YouTube for free. And I want quite a nice cinematic ambient sound. So I've got a few here. And the nice thing is it'll tell me that my whole clip, I don't know if you can see me tapping, it says 3 minutes 12, right?
Yeah.
So really, ideally, I want something that's at least that, or I've got to stitch bits of music together. Okay, so I've got one here says 4 minutes. I've highlighted it. I can play it just to get an idea what it's actually like. I don't know if you can all hear that. Right. Anyway, main thing is
Turn your volume down on the music. It drowns your voice out.
I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to drag it. Do you remember we had the film clip and then we had the music clip? Simple as that. Right. Now, when I play it, I've got the nice sound. I can adjust the levels here. It's not a great bit of music. And that's how you would add music to that. And I would also, you'll see here, I've got different music tracks, and a bit like, I think it's a bit like Photoshop actually. You see the little eyes? Can you see I've just turned that on and off?
Oh yeah, bit
Same
like a
sort
layer.
of thing really. Yeah, so if I was working on quite a big project with lots of different clips everywhere, and I thought I'm getting confused, I could just take a line out and look at what I'm doing. Okay, let's have a look at a Keith was asking me about photos, putting together something. So what I did.
You've got a dialogue up on your window screen.
Oh,
Later.
Thanks, Joe. I might subscribe later. Right. Are we all happy so far?
Yeah.
Confused? Happy? Not enough? Judy, happy?
They're
You're
all
muted, Trudy.
Don't forget we're all muted, Ray.
I thought that's the way you liked it best. Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks, Ray.
It's all right.
Yeah, thanks, Ray.
I know it can probably, if you haven't used this sort of stuff, it probably looks a bit daunting, but of course, like everything, once you start using it, I like it. The reason I like it on the iPad is because it can move around, and not be chained to the PC so much. It also is exactly the same on a phone as well. In fact, it's just as powerful on a phone. Of course, you've got a smaller screen and that, which isn't great. Right, photos. So let's see, how did I make this? Let's just go from. So I've gone down here, bottom left, I'm doing plus, I'm doing a new project. So I'm going to call it case, whoops, go away. Keith's Picks. right? You can choose frame rate and stuff like that. But what you're doing is you're matching the same as your video. So if you recorded it on your phone or your DSLR and it was 1080p and 29.97 frames a second, then you want to just match it. But it should do it itself anyway. You've got landscape, portrait, all that stuff. So I've just started a brand new project called Keith Picks, and I'm going to go over to my photos. Oh, hang on, I put them somewhere. Where did I put them? Just so I could demo it a bit easier. All right. Best photo. Right, here we go. So some of my pictures that I entered in the PDIs and things like that. Well, I want to basically highlight them all. Right. There we go. It's highlighted them all for me. And I'm just going to drag them into my timeline. Boom. Okay. And in theory now, when I press play, and I can also tap on my preview, and can you see it's every 3 seconds or so?
Yeah.
And that's adjustable, however you wanted to do it. All right.
Yeah. And then
So
can you then put a transition between those? I guess you can you?
Yeah, you can. Good question. So you can so I tap my next step, a bit like a video recorder. Can you see me tapping that one?
Yeah.
By the play button. I'm going to go for a simple transition. Now, actually, let's go to town. Let's go back into our transition menu. Let's find something funky on here. What about, let's do a slide up right. I don't know what it's like. Tap on it. It shows me a little idea of what's going to happen. I'm going, yeah, happy with that. I drop it in. Now let's play, see what happens. All right. Go on to the next one. You can also, if you had a lot of these and you thought, look, I want to make 50 photos on here and I wanted a 2-minute video, you work the maths out and things. But also you can tell it, I want the same transition in all of the clips, to save you time.
Yeah.
Let's try one more. Let's go for let's put one. Let's try dissolve. In it goes. I can extend the size of the transitions as well and do all sorts of things like that. Let's see what this one's like. Okay, that's quite a nice one actually. That's a good one. Again, I can go back in, and if I wanted, I could put I've got a main title before I even start it, right? But I use the overlay titles most of the time. If you did get into making videos and also you wanted to do like a little training video quick, which, could be handy when we're all presenting different parts of photography, you could press voiceover. This is cool. And I can just simply record my voice. Here we go. Let's try it. 3, 2, 1. Hi everyone. This is Ray. I've made a little album to show you how to use LumaFusion. Thanks very much. Now that is just, if I press OK, that has just stuck it in my timeline. So when I play it. Hi everyone. This is Ray. I've made a little album to show you how to use LumaFusion. And of course, if I'm going to make a nice video, I'd be putting in again some nice music just to I'll show you something a bit fancier as well. And let's go back to and put in find some music. Right, Timeless, this was called. Let's whack that in there. Here we go. When I get to the end, just to show you something. You've got something on here, so I'm going to do a cut there. Now I want that bit of music to fade out. So by the time it gets to the end, this is a little bit more advanced stuff. I'm going to tap on my little clip that I've just cut. And I'm going to put in something in videoing, if you get into it, it's called keyframes. So keyframes allows you to start off with a certain look about it. And by the end of the time you choose, you could have a different color. You could have moved the screen. You could have zoomed in and out. And in this case, I'm going to drop the volume. So I put a keyframe in. I then scroll my video along, and then I tell it I want the volume reduced all the way to 0. Back. Now, you might, I don't know if you can see the detail on that, but it's going to play it. And now it's going to do it nice, slowly, you know, without that ending straight away. Okay?
Yeah.
But I think in terms of, because we're talking about making nice photography display, let's take example, good old Serena here, one of my pictures with the cobweb. Oh, that one's after I took Gary's advice, actually, took out the tulips and things out the back. Anyway, what else? Okay, I could, can you see I can do all sorts of zoom stuff? So I could go back now, and this is what will happen now when I get to that section. There we go. Now, if I want to be really whizzy, I could move that, remember the priority thing, to the top. Let's see where Serena is now. There you go. Okay. So I want her to last a bit longer on the screen. So this is called picture in picture. And I could have a video in picture. That makes sense?
Mm.
So really, it's pretty powerful bit of kit.
Yeah, very flexible, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is. So I say I'm happy with my film now. You know, yeah, it's good. It's looking good. Then all I've got to do is share it and export it, and you can see I've got tons of options. Simple way is I've decided I'm going to just put it on my iPad, but I could load it to OneDrive, YouTube, and all the rest of it. I press photos, and I've got all these options. If I wanted, I could change the settings of the type of video, but you can just leave them on default, and to be honest, that will do the job. Down the bottom, that does tell me the size of the file, how much space I've got on my iPad. It says I've got 6 gig left, and also I can change the video quality, you know, so it, and then I press done. All right, and that will then make my movie.
So where you started and pulled in a video that you've
Yeah.
taken, has that now been overwritten, or is that still there as it was?
It's a good question, but yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, so
if
in
I go-
wherever you brought it from originally, you've still got the original.
That's right. It's like a mirrored version.
Yes, so it's basically copied it into the video
Exactly.
and left the original intact.
You got it. You
Right,
got it.
okay, fine.
So if I went back and I'm looking for it, yeah, exactly. It'll still
It's
be
still
there.
there. Yeah, yeah,
There's my one from earlier and so on.
yeah.
So and of course now I've exported it and I'm looking at my screen. Oh, go away. It is yeah, it's all back to normal. So that is, I think, in terms of LumaFusion, the main stuff. You know, there really is a lot more. See, I can change my views if you found it a bit easier looking at. Okay.
Yeah, it's a case of downloading it on a trial version and giving it a go if you're interested, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But I will show you if anyone's got an iPad and think, oh, I just don't want it. I don't want it to be quite as whizzy, or I just want to quickly knock up something. And this is free as well. iMovie, the icon bottom right, is free on all iOS stuff. Let's have a look at that. This is what you'll get. Create project, tapping on there. You can do a trailer or a movie. Let's do a movie. There we go. Similar to LumaFusion, just more basic setup. Very quick though. So there's listed all my little videos in there. What we got here? Let's have a look. Right. So I've selected this one. I think it's from my mate's garden actually. So I can play it just to give me a little what it's all about.
Okay.
I'm going to say tick though, and I'm going to use that to create a movie. All right. And it's on iCloud at the moment, so it's just downloading it. And you'll recognize that this setup, right, it's just got less, it's got a nice clean, like anything Apple really, it's pretty clean view, hasn't it? But I have got my timeline down the bottom. I'm using my finger on a pen, just whizzing backwards and forwards. And then similar stuff, if I tap on the clip, it gives me, let's go to there, it gives me my actions like split it, let's split it. All right, similar to LumaFusion. I want to put in a transition. So let's do a dissolve transition. Let's have a look. What does it look like?
Okay.
Okay, so filters. You know, you could. It's very quick. This one. I mean, let's just do a black and white. Let's do a blockbuster. Looks quite cool. I've got speed options again. So tortoise that end or a hare that end. All right. Play.
Okay.
I can
just
press my
wanting
camera
to
option. I can go straight into it and just add a quick, you know, movie and things like that. All right. I can record voice onto it like I did earlier. And I can also do, you know, music, sound effects, stuff like that. Let's try a bark. Right. So I've just stuck a bark on my timeline there. So when I play it,
wanting to
right? Easy peasy, that one. And there is other fancy settings, you know, you can even have it make a kind of a soundtrack. So if you really wanted to save a bit of time, really, you know, and you just want to get going, and let's try that playful. Let's see, I haven't really, how does that work? Does it work? Theme. Let's see. Maybe I've got to select the clip first or something. Media, playful, theme, soundtrack. Oh yeah, there we go. You've got to put theme, tell it. Okay, let's see what happens. What's it done? Play.
just wanting to
Anyway, do you get the idea?
Mm.
That one. Okay.
Yeah. It's very similar.
Very similar. I've got here, I press done and it's asking me, do I want to edit it? It tells me the length. I can just play it. I can export it to whatever I want or save the video. Job's done. So it can be really quick. So yeah, big fan. There it is. It saved it. Oh, it's done. I see what it's done. It's done like a fancy thing on there.
Okay. Just wanting to take a video.
The dog barking. There we go. Okay. So maybe before I jump on to YouTubing, we can see if there's anything else that you want me to drop in there about making the video in the first place, and perhaps recording the video if you want any tips or anything.
Anybody else got anything they want to ask?
Yeah, Ray.
Yes, Roy?
I've never ever taken video. It's on my camera, but I've never even used it. So there's thousands of different settings and all this, that, and the other that I understand none of it. Like the HD or the 1080p or the frame rate or anything. So if you could add something about that, that would be, you know, how to take it in the first place.
It's good timing, actually. I've been messing about earlier with my Canon 650D, looking at the video options on there, and I think most of you have got a camera that's, you know, really up to very high quality video. The things to think about on mine, for example, let me see. Okay, I've got, you know, obviously you've got your normal manual exposure and AV mode and all the rest of it. It's normally got some sort of video button that you can click. Okay, in terms of the menus at the back, one thing to be aware of is that when you're shooting the film, 1080p, you've got two types really, Roy, 1080 or 4K. Right, so 4K is a newer, you know, nearly 4 times the resolution, but really you can end up with this massive file, and you know, you don't really need it these days unless you're a professional video maker and you've got a massive TV you want to display it. 1080 is the one to go for. And if I click on mine, you know, mine's a pretty old camera now, but I've got options for 1080. I've got 25 frames a second, 24, 50, and 25. Actually, I've only got 2 options for 1080 size, and that's 25 or 24. So in a nutshell, 24 is the one that's kind of best YouTube compatible and most things you want to display it on, right? And then when you're actually setting your shutter speed and your aperture and your ISO in similar ways you would to photography, well, from what I understand anyway. And the simple thing with your shutter speed is that you double it. So for example, I'm doing 24 frames a second, then I will do 1/50th shutter speed. All right, 50. I know it's 48, but 50 is the nearest you get. All right, so that's your shutter speed sorted. And then your aperture, that's again the sort of video effect you want. So I was filming something earlier where I just got my head, you know, and I wanted a nice blurry bokeh background and so on. Then, you know, I had me, you know, f1.8. This is a little 50mm prime lens, and that gives you a lovely blurry background. You'll also have most of the modern cameras got face recognition. So if you stick this up in front, it will literally track your face, a little square around it, and it will have it on autofocus. You move around and it will track you. Of course, you don't want to move around too much because it will, you know, blur for a second and then find you again and all that. What other settings are useful to know? Let's see. Sound. So most of the cameras have got a built-in microphone. If you want to get better, because if you're recording videos and you're really talking and things like that, you want to get a little mic. So this sort of thing here, you might have heard of a company called Rode, R-O-D-E. They're sort of the market leader in this type of stuff. And that attaches on your hot shoe. Okay. And then you're away. And you'll notice you've heard of these things are called dead cats, I think. So it's just if you're outside and it's a bit windy, then you're not going to get the noise effect. But yeah, in simple terms, Roy, honestly, just stick it in video mode. You know, you can wander around with it. You can stick it on a tripod, and they're incredible. You know, the quality of these is stunning. What you can get. You'll just record it to the SD card as normal. and you're away. But yeah, oh, the other thing, leave it in manual mode as well. Okay. And again, you can put zoom lenses on all sorts. So depending on where you want to.
Do you use a tripod most of the time, or have you tried one of these little stabilizing gimbal things?
Yeah, you can use gimbals and that. You know, to carry a DSLR on a gimbal. I don't know if everyone's up with gimbals, but gimbals is basically just a way of balancing it, so it's all nice and smooth. So if you had a forest video and you wanted to wander through and not have it all jerky, you could do it that way. But yeah, absolutely, it depends what you're making. If you're just there to video a scene, stick it on a tripod, definitely. But if you want to get into it more and you want to film some action shots, or you know, family running around a garden or something, then yeah, you can put it in your hand. And most of them have got stability mode as well, built in. You know, what do you call it? Stability, like a camera, like a lens.
Image stabilizer, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, that type of setup.
Ray, why did you say you have to put it in manual mode?
You can have it in the other modes. Well, I think I sort of watched a few YouTube videos of pros doing it. It just gives you more options. But you could have it in your AV mode. The only thing is you might end up trying to set your shutter speed and things like that. You know, when you're better off just leaving it in that shutter speed, but it'll still do it.
Right. Extracting a single frame from a video.
Yeah, good one. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll show you something. By going back on to say my okay, back on LumaFusion or something like that, and I wanted just that frame there, right, hand on the grip there, I could just go into my export thingy. Down the bottom there, it says snapshot. Okay, writing the snapshot. And now when I go onto my, iPad, there it is. That's just a picture. All right.
Yeah.
And some of these, no worries, mate. Some of the the modern ones now. I mean, is it which one has just come out? Is it the Canon R5? Is it? It's got something like 8K video capability. So you could just, you could literally scan around, take some video, and you can get a massively high resolution still off it. Incredible.
Which you hope you can sell to cover the cost of the camera body, yeah.
Absolutely.
Dave, cost of a computer to run the 8K.
Well, it's not just a computer, is it? It's a damn screen is the most expensive part.
Yeah.
I bought a screen that would support 4K, and it cost me 600 quid, so God knows what it costs for an 8K.
Yeah, I don't know if they're out yet. I guess they're like everything. They'll be out at some point. But 4K is if you've ever looked at a 4K TV, that's more than enough for our eyes. That's for sure. I mean, the detail's incredible.
I'm going to say it's going to take several thousand years of evolution to get 8K eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
They also say that some of the female television presenters are not that fussed with 4K because it shows a little bit too much detail.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you need a bit more eye makeup and stuff. Before I move on, I'll show you YouTube if you like.
Yeah.
Any questions at the moment? Keith, are you happy with sort of linking photos together and maybe making something?
Yeah. Yes, I am, Ray. The only problem for me is that all my pictures are not on my iPad, they're on my PC. So you've presented, a piece of software that wouldn't be so easy for me to use.
I have a plan, Keith, don't you worry. I have a plan B.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. I am a fan of using the iPad stuff. But I did come across the other day, if you haven't got any software at all and you want something on your PC, and it's called NCH something. Let me just find it. It's free, which is always good.
Oh, that sounds good.
And I, like a lot of things, here we go. I'll just share, oh, here we go. I'll just share my share screen. Where are you? Here we go. Yeah, came across this because some guys at work were in a similar boat. They didn't have anything, and this is quite good. Sometimes, like a lot of freebies, there might be some limits, you know, with it's only got 10 minutes or this, that, and the other, but this seems pretty good. nchsoftware.com. And looking at most of this, there's a lot of things I've talked about, like audio tools, transition effects, sharing it, and so on. Let's have a look.
Well, that's downloading, Ray. Does anybody know, because I've got an iPhone, which is a piddly little thing.
Yeah.
I have to keep it because it's the only way I can track my granddaughter when she gets lost on the school bus, you know, this Life 360 nonsense. But is there any way of echoing a phone screen onto a large PC screen so that you've got decent visibility?
Yeah. Do you mean at home, Dave? So
yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm quite happy to. I don't mind paying 30 quid for a decent piece of software because that looks a pretty good piece of software. What I don't want is an £800 bill to buy an iPad to play it on.
Well, the my just point. Firstly, about iPads, I've got literally the basic iPad that will do it. Right? I think it's £200, 250, right?
That's 250 quid I don't want to spend to add to the electronics claptrap I've got cluttering up my household. Yeah.
So the app that I used called Lonely Screen is free. That's what I've been using tonight. So in effect, I've just been on my iPad. I'm
mirroring
it up to my screen. So if I had a movie or something on there, or a text or whatever you want on your screen, it just mirrors it onto your PC.
Do you link the iPad stroke iPhone directly to the screen, or do you do it through the PC?
You just literally swipe down. You swipe down, and then in your menu, I'll show you.
It's no need to go through the detail because it might not interest other people, but basically if I get hold of Lonely Screen, do I access my overpriced monitor via the Monitor Direct, or do I do it through my PC?
Through your PC.
That's good enough for me, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
So I'm pretty much swipe there. Can you see I've got screen mirroring? Lonely Screen.
I can't see anything at the moment, apart from the video that you've got download now, which is this digital video editor.
Cool. Let's go back to that then.
You're still on the web browser. Yeah.
Right, how's that? So you can all see, you can get the idea, right? And I guess I haven't played with it much, but look, we've got here, import your videos. You've got a very similar setup.
You're still on your
web browser.
Web browser.
Right, let's have a look. Let's go back to.
You need to share your screen again. Close that
Right,
down and.
Let me stop this there and get back on it. Ah, here we go. Right, how's that?
Right.
You'll see that.
You can see a black screen, yeah.
This is race. Right, Rotterdam.
That's it. That's
There we
better.
go. There we go. Right, boom. So that's because I just stuck a clip. Right, there we go. You got the same old setup. Look, bottom left, top left. That's all my stuff I'm going to put in there.
So this is this NCH.
This is this free one we've got. So
Yeah.
if you haven't got iPad and stuff and you fancied having a go, here's one of my old videos here. Okay, there it is. Very similar setup. Let's see. I play it. All right. I'm not going to go fiddling about with it too much. There we are. And I want to drag it into my timeline like I did with LumaFusion. Look, it's got my music on the bottom because it's got a built-in soundtrack, and then it's got my video. And at the top here, I've got all my different things I could do. Look, add text. Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. Record stuff, add narration. Somewhere on here there'll be a cut thingy somewhere. Oh, there we are, split. There we are, split. All right.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So there's another option.
I mentioned another one in chat that's fairly mega package, Blackmagic, DaVinci. It's actually Blackmagic make cameras as well, video cameras.
Oh, yes.
Is that like a downloadable one, Terry, or is that a web-based?
No, it's PC
Yeah?
software. It's a main
that sounds
software,
good.
but they do a cut down one. I think mostly it won't do 4K video. It won't let you process 4K, so you're limited to HD. But otherwise, it's a full blown package.
Cool. Okay. Right, have you all had enough, or do you want to show you YouTube quickly? So you've made your masterpiece. All right for time, Pete?
Yeah, fine, yeah.
So I have a YouTube channel. YouTube channels are free. You probably know YouTube is very, very big. And let's see, screen share. Oh, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Can you all see? Big thing that says Pedal Planet.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got your normal YouTube, right? So you go, and I'm sure you've all used it, and search for a video you like. And I've got a few different kind of YouTube channels. So I have one for work, one for Bike It Ray, and I've got one for my cycling business, Pedal Planet. So on Pedal Planet, I have a few videos. Ooh. Let's go back to, and within it, it's no different, is it, Pete, really, to our camera club one, is it?
No, the camera club one's the same, I think.
Right. So the other day we were all talking about, what have I got here? Let's have a look at this video. Here's a video. When I click on it, it's just going to come up like you probably see it publicly. Right. That's me going around.
Intelligent life anywhere.
Hello. There we go, with a bit of Toy Story in it. But the thing I want just to show you, say I want to add a video. So I go to create up the top, and I'm going to upload a new video. So I've made my masterpiece at home on my iPad on the computer. What's all that about? So I've got to find me a video. What have I got on there? Let's see. Let's find something that's quick. We'll try it. I think it's just a pitch. It's just a little quick video, I think, of. And you'll be given something like this, right? It's uploading my video at the moment. And something that, if you're really into making videos, a thumbnail is really important. So if you want someone to be attracted to it and click on it, then you want to make yourself a little picture that shows what your video is about. So that's how you would do it. You would click on there and you just do upload thumbnail. So let's find a picture. Oh, too big. Anyway, you put a picture in there, and that would show everyone what your video is all about before they click on it. Oh, hang on, we'll use that. Okay. I'm going to tell it it's not made for kids. Right. I'm going to put in there Ray's Ike vid. I might tell people about it a little bit more. I press next. You can do some other fancy stuff. We won't at the moment. Next. Now, this is what we were talking about in the club. You know, do we do it private? So if you wanted to just have it yourself and you wanted a way of storing your videos for free, you could do it that way. Unlisted means that, as it says, anyone with the video link can watch your video, right? But they can't search for it. So they're unlikely to ever find it, all right? And then you've got, of course, public, which everyone can see and read and watch and so on. Okay, so I'm going to do an unlisted and then I'm going to save it. It's asking me, do I want to share it? No, I'm happy, thank you. And there is my little video. And there's all my bits of videos that I've got on here. Okay. But you'll know the thing about the thumbnail, the reason it's so important, that if you, let's go back to normal YouTube. And you'll notice all these are thumbnails. So although when I hover, you know, on your videos when you watch them, here we are, it's a bit about Canon 80D. On there, it tells me from this chat, before I go into it, it tells me what the heck I'm going to be watching. So for those that are really into marketing them and, you know, earning money through videos, the thumbnail's really important. You know, and it's like a newspaper front, isn't it? It's to pull you in and to watch it. All right?
Yeah.
How's that?
Very good.
Yeah, very helpful.
That's what I've been using, guys, for Apple Pencil.
It looks very painful.
Very good. Yeah, watch where you put it.
Great.
Who's getting video making then?
Yeah, might give it a go.
Give it a
I've
whirl.
done a little bit when I've been on holiday. That's a bit all.
Yeah, stick it there. It doesn't have to be fancy. Get on your phone. Actually, I'm going to show you one more thing. I think might be useful.
Me and Gary might make one when we're out taking photos and then send it to Kerry. He can see what he's missed out on then. How does that sound, Kerry?
Yeah, brilliant.
Nasty, nasty.
I'd much rather say you do the editing.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a video then of you taking a picture of Gary, won't it? 'Cause he's always
Pretty
in the
much.
I was just going to say, you only need to take one. Gary will be in it anyway.
Yeah.
Malcolm and I started doing one, doing the last of the summer wine.
Yeah.
There was a certain person who wouldn't participate in having his photograph taken, so he got left out of it. We never did finish the video.
I had him this morning. I had a lovely photo of him. He was about 2 minutes away from disappearing under all the water.
How was he?
Yeah, I didn't know whether to tell him that the tide had come in or not.
Where'd you go?
Hill Head.
Oh, yeah.
It came in pretty quick, the tide.
Oh, yeah.
This couple walking by, I said, shall I tell him again that it's coming in? We all agreed not to.
Oh, you mean bugger.
Yeah.
Just if you're out, just some tips, you know, because we're going to probably make videos with our phones. If you go into settings, you know, whatever phone you've got, you'll have some sort of camera settings. And so the sort of things to look for on here, obviously recording video on what you want. We talked about this earlier. 1080, 30 frames a second is great. That will be fine. This will do slow-mo as well. And of course, it's even got, you know, the grid. So the rule of thirds and stuff like that on there, which can be quite handy. When I go into my camera, yeah. So imagine that I'm just about to take some vid. If I tap on the screen, so let's just have a, right, there's my, okay. If I tap on this fella, I can lock my exposure onto him. So if you're out in, say, the garden and you've got the light going on and things like that, and you guys know all about this more than me, this will keep it exposure locked and also the focus locked as well. I can also run my finger up and down and I can change exposure. All right.
That nicely illustrates one of the things that drives me nuts. When people have a phone, I'm not talking about you, Ray, but most people seem to think that it only works in the upright portrait position, whereas in actual fact in landscape, it's standard HD dimensions.
Yeah, that's a good point, Dave, actually, because I'll always film in landscape. That's a good
It drives
point.
me nuts while they film in portrait.
Because
And
you
then
end
they
up
put
with
this,
horrible bars, don't you, either side?
yeah, they put blurry stuff on either side, which looks like shit, and then they wonder why the people don't. Oh, whatever.
But yeah, there you go. Most cat phones will be similar to that. They'll have some sort of system.
Mine's not.
Time to go shopping.
How'd you get him to keep so still so long?
He's good, isn't he? He's very well behaved.
You hit him on the head.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him on the. Actually, I might. Can I do a competition with this chap?
Yeah, I would have thought so.
There you go. Ray's
Lovely.
top tips.
Right.
It's good fun. It's really good fun. Go on.
One of my mates, Blair, who's moved to Malaysia, we did a video and put it in a competition. It was for Virgin Media's 25th anniversary, and we come second with it.
Hey.
Hey, Kerry, can you show it?
Not here.
Go on, it's brilliant.
I know it's good, but I haven't got it. I don't know where it is on the computer at the moment.
Oh, I have to dig it out.
Yeah, I'll have a word with Blair.
What was it that made it? Because, you know, yes, you can do, some people can do really fancy editing and all the rest of it, but it's all about the content, isn't it?
We did it in the back garden. We used a green cloth, a green screen. He photographed me dressed in a red skirt. I was meant to be the air hostess on the plane.
I'm sorry, a bit worried with you with the red skirt.
Brilliant.
It was just good fun, and it was. I'll sit down and think it, and we'll play it.
I think,
Yeah.
Kerry, the best bit is when you turned and smiled with one tooth blacked out.
Oh yeah. Well,
You got to show us that.
yeah.
It's brilliant.
I'll have a look at it.
They're the best ones, the homemade ones like that.
Yeah.
Good fun.
Yeah. Here's a picture for you. There he is this morning.
Wow.
Nearly got him caught, stranded. About less than 5 minutes before that, there was an easy way back.
Close call.
But it came in so quick, and I was tempted to leave him out there, but my kindness got the better of me.
You were feeling unwell that day then?
That was this morning.
It was this morning. What the problem was that I was driving, so if he got all wet, he had to get back into my car.
Oh, now the truth is out.
Yes. So I thought, do I want him all wet in my car? No, I don't.
Before lunch.
Yeah, before lunch. Well, Ray, that was great. That was a good
really
good
nice.
insight into what we can do with videos.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I think-
You know, they cross over, don't they, a bit,
Yeah.
really? Photography world, videography.
I just make a comment before we break up about trying to use my camera for video, which I've rarely done. I may be doing it incorrectly, but when I activate the video mode, you can't see through the view screen. You have to look at the live view screen at the back. I don't have a mirrorless camera. So I have to look at the live view screen at the back, and I can't see it in daylight. So I've quickly given up my attempts at video because I can't see what I'm filming.
Yeah.
What camera you got,
Get
Keith?
one of those.
It's a Canon EOS 200D.
Don't you get like a shade to go over the screen?
Does anyone use them, and do they find them effective?
You can get kind of snoot things that it's hard to describe, like a pyramid with an eyepiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, just clicks on the back. Yeah, I've not used one, but I don't.
Okay, so I'm just wondering. I know you probably thought of this, but if you're, I was on about earlier, it's in manual mode and so on. Taking the videos. That obviously I've done it. You look at live view in the back, and if I haven't got the shutter speed and the aperture right, of course, you end up with a real dark screen. So I'm not saying it's definitely worth checking that. But also, if you've got it on the highest brightness, then
it's bright daylight falling on the screen. That's the
I have one of the hoods which you put on the screen at the back. I looked through that. It's very good.
Yeah, I love the fact, the articulated screens are brilliant for video making. That's why I think, my next camera, I'll go for definitely a swivel screen again.
Keith, I trust you've got the screen intensity right up as high as it'll go.
Well, possibly not. Possibly that's a good idea to try.
Worth looking into.
Yeah. I pushed it up to maximum on mine for that very reason when I'm using live view. It sucks battery, but at least I can see what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Actually, what you need, Keith, is a tripod and one of those big black cloak things like they used to have 90 years ago.
You can actually buy some. Oh, sorry. You can actually buy something which is like a. I don't know how to call it, but you know, like the sort of tubular megaphones they used to shout through before they had microphones. It's a bit like that, except you stick it on the back with a magnetic fitting. I can't remember what it's called, and then you look through that with a magnifier on it. Built in, so you've got a sort of a big eyepiece that actually fits onto the live view. It's pretty impressive, but it's just one more bit of claptrap to carry around.
Yeah, you can take it off.
Cool. We won't have sun for a while anyway, Keith.
Yeah.
Might be.
I've got a blackout screen if anybody wants to borrow one.
A what? A blackout screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
bag over your head.
Yeah.
Keith, I bought a loop type activity when I was doing a lot of videoing with the camera.
That's it. That's a loop. Yeah.
Fit onto the back, and you put it up to your eye, and you get a superb picture with none of the extraneous light coming in on the screen. If I can find it, I'll dig it out. And if we're on Zoom next week, Peter,
yeah,
then I'll show it to you, and you're welcome to it because I stopped videoing these days. So whether you can get an adapter to fit your screen, I don't know, but they are around and they're very good.
Yeah, the loop in fact, I'm glad you mentioned that. It was actually called a loop. It had a small metal frame which went with double-sided tape onto the back of the LCD screen, and then the loop had a magnet in it so you could clip it on, clip it off.
Yeah.
I had that for ages, but in the end I thought to myself, I'm carrying so much bloody stuff around. I need, like the little old lady who goes over with a wrinkly chariot for her shopping. I was starting to feel like I needed one of those for my camera kit, which is a bit superfluous.
I assume with a mirrorless camera, you don't have all these problems. You just look through the viewfinder.
No, just go and get yourself an EOS R. It's wonderful.
Yeah, because I noticed when you put mine in video mode, the mirror locks up, doesn't it? Gets out of the way, I suppose.
Has to, yeah.
Yeah, mirrorless. Basically, you've got an electronic viewfinder.
Yeah.
So yes.
Fabulous. Just invest some of your pension in a nice shiny new camera.
Yeah. On my Panasonic, the viewfinder's much higher resolution than the LCD on the back. You actually get a bit better picture through the viewfinder.
Yeah, the Panasonic's a lovely camera.
I know Fujifilm was the X-T3. I don't know if anyone's got that, but that's a really popular video making camera, and of course the XT4.
Another very popular one is the M50.
Yeah.
Right, folks. Well, once again, thanks, Ray, for tonight.
Yeah, really enjoyed that, Ray. Thanks very much.
We've all learned something.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks very much.
I'll
Cheers,
drop a
Ray.
note round about the program for next week. We're going to do some bits and pieces on Photoshop. So if there is anybody that's got anything in particular that they want showing, let me know. We're going to go through some owl photos that Dave's taken and try and take out some bright bits and what have you in there. But if there's anything else anybody else wants, they're struggling with or want us to go through, let me know as soon as, and we'll add it in.
I've got some books on Photoshop. I was about to take up the charity shop if anyone wants them.
Keith?
That's it. Yeah.
Oh. That's a viewfinder, Colin. So that's for the.
That's a loop for the back, yeah, with a magnifier on it. Brilliant. I have one of those.
And you can
Sorry, show me again.
Right. That's what it looks like.
Right.
Right. Fits over the screen.
Yeah.
But if you don't want it, you can just flip up the top, and then
Yeah.
you've got the magnifier. You've still got some sort of light keeper outer, like a lens hood. All right, screen itself.
Yeah. And I can use the magnifying glass to read my newspaper.
Trouble is, no light gets in.
Multi-use.
Yeah.
Okay then. Right. Well, if anybody's got anything for next week, let me know. If not, I'll send out the details anyway, and I'll let you all know the full details on the for the trophy, the triptych, and I'll get that out in the next couple of days. All right.
Yep. And Ray, if you want this freebie lamp to play with, send me an email and we'll work out how we can.
Cheers, Dave. Okay,
Yeah.
much appreciated, mate. And thanks, Gary, for sending me. Those videos are really great. I've forgotten his name now.
Yeah.
What's his name again, Gary? Yeah.
No.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Bye, John.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye now, guys.
Okay.
Good night.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Ray.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.